I started saying kill gameplay online and to friends months ago, November last year, 2024. And the response was overwhelmingly curiosity. And I liked that. I liked making people curious. I was curious too, and I think it was kind of unusual for other people to be so curious about something that I was also curious about. And I tried to describe kill gameplay, to write about it, and it was immediately and obviously a huge failure. Not my specialty. I'm not great at explaining things in detail. I write broken little poems. I make small platformers. I do pixel art whose abstractness, the point of it is to leave room for the viewer, the reader, the player to fill in the blanks for themselves. I think Sylvie had been talking on Blue Sky about wanting to make an animals and fruits game, a project which I think she's still working on, and I hope she figures it out. And I wanted to make something for her, so I made a silly little, I just called it Animals and Fruits game for Sylvie. Melos also was talking about animals and fruits games and was making like a melon game. So I made this animals and fruits game for Sylvie. I didn't show her, but that sat around, and by the time I tried to write my kill gameplay essay, book, manifesto, by the time I gave up on it, and I looked at this animals and fruits game and this little bunny that I'd made, and I thought it would make a great starting point. And so I made the first level of the end of gameplay, bunnies. And it starts with this line. It says, "We were all bunnies, born into a world of coins and walls." And then over the next few months, really, I would make new levels. I had a kind of rough feeling or memory. I would just try to catch it. I don't know how else to describe it. It sounds so weird and pretentious. I would just try to make something that came from that place in my mind. There were some good ones and some bad ones. There was an early level that was cut quickly called Pink Argument, and it just had me writing the word pink messily all over the place in the level. It was great. It was really fun to make, but and actually playing it, I feel like the fury of me smashing the letters on my keyboard didn't come through to the player. So that one was cut. That one was cut. And I gave a rant about kill gameplay. You can watch it. If I put this on YouTube, it'll be in a box here, I guess. I don't know how to do it. Maybe it won't be in a box there. As I thought and talked about kill gameplay, there was one level in the end of gameplay. There was one level called Blood, and blood is this idea of, and I don't know what came first. I think it was this idea of games as art. I forget if I talk about this in the rant, but no one talks about game. The conversation about whether games are art has been going on for so long. I just never heard anyone talk about making games as art in the context of art therapy. And at the time that it occurred to me, I knew nothing about art therapy except that it existed and sounded kind of interesting and good and had the word art in it. I thought that it was really relevant to my practice of making games. I thought, why do I make games? For the last 4 days, I've been making these droqevers, the end of skeleton, the end of red key, the end of score thing, and the end of magic door. And for reasons unrelated and related to the fact that I'm releasing the best thing that I've ever made. I'm releasing it tomorrow. And I feel so overwhelmed. And making these games and putting my emotions into them as I go through these last 4 days before release, I don't know, I think it's helped. I don't know if it has helped me process the feelings. That I've been doing a lot of diary writing, and I think that has been doing a lot more active work than making the droqevers. But they play a part in it, because I know when I'm done and I put it down, all these suspended emotions come back with so much clarity. I feel so much clearer after making these objects. And that was the process of making the end of gameplay. I just made these whenever the mood struck. Some of them are about killing gameplay, other ones are just about... They all became about it, but, you know, one of them is about the color of the walls in my bedroom and acceptance of limitations, boundaries, something like that. I have spent my life making games and knowing people who make games and talking to people about making games. And I have seen the independent games scene go from what it was, which was this kind of loose, crazy hobby scene that somehow got a ton of attention, where indie games seemed to make a bunch of money. So that attracted a bunch of people who thought, to differing degrees, hey, I want to make a bunch of money too, so I'll make a game. And the people who are already making games, they thought, okay, great, this is a good way to push myself, to release something instead of just noodling around. And underneath this how do I describe it, this decade of commercialization, I think that I don't know if hobby really captures it, but this idea that making games is something that you can do because it's good for you. It gives you a sense of purpose and meaning, and not because it's a job or it's going to make you a bunch of money, or because, I don't know, a museum will like it, but because the actual act of making something is something that can be very meaningful to a person. It can do so much for you. There's different schools of art therapy. There's like a more analytic school, which I really like. I mean, not that I know it exactly, but it's been loosely described to me, and I imagine that I understand it quite well. Where you make the art and then you talk about it, and you talk about why you made the decisions that you made. This is why I'm so anti-procedural generation. My perspective is that procedurally generated art makes it very difficult to ask the question, why did you make this decision? Because so many of the decisions are invisible and made by, like, so many of the human decisions are invisible, they're buried. You can't access them by looking at the work. You have to really go digging. And I love when it's on the surface, when the blood is on the surface, and I can say, what were you thinking? What were you feeling when you drew this, when you made this work this way? Why did you want it to work that way? I did analytical talk therapy, but I never did the other kind in a therapy setting. So I can't really speak about it very much, but the way that it was described to me was it's an activity that you feel good while doing it. It's possible that there are overlaps between this second part of art therapy that I haven't investigated much myself and gameplay, but playing games, just doing things. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about this because I don't know much about it. I just had to fill in a gap in my video. I made a game called Starseed Pilgrim, like 13 years ago? And what followed was, there was just a kind of a crazy amount of discourse and press. People wanted to, I don't know, they asked me questions about the design of Starseed Pilgrim. Everyone was really excited about indie games still. And there were people talking about my game, and I was 21, something like that. And I thought nothing could be cooler than for everyone on the internet to be talking to me about me. But looking back at the legacy of Starseed Pilgrim, it felt like what was left behind was this idea that you should make cryptic artwork, that you should make games that don't tell you how to play them because it's fun to be confused and to mess around and then figure out the rules. And like, fucking whatever. Who cares? That's so meaningless. My most distant hope is that if the end of gameplay can gather even remotely close to the amount of tension, attention? Jesus Christ, I can't say that word. If the end of gameplay gathers even close to the amount of attention that Starseed Pilgrim got, I would want it to be about this function that games serve for people, that for some people, not everyone, but games can be a genuinely expressive art form. It isn't about, oh, they're interactive so they can convey things in different ways than other art. Like, who fucking cares? I just know that there are people out there who are making games and they don't understand. Yet. They don't understand yet why they do it. And I want them to know that it's not because of the indie gold rush or because they have nothing better to do. I think that we can learn how to talk about games as an expressive art form in a way that promotes people using it that way and using it better, using it to that end to make their lives better, to make themselves better people in by whatever metric they see fit. Making art allows you to be honest with yourself in a way that may not be accessible through other means. And this honesty and this clarity of the self, that's what art is. I should end by saying a few words about kill gameplay, I guess. This isn't a well-tested theory or anything like that, and I'm sure that if anyone sees this video, if I actually post it, there will be plenty of people who are pissed as hell because they love to make gameplay and that's the thing that gives them meaning. And all I can do is speak about my own experience, which is that I don't think gameplay has ever been very expressive for me. The game is vessel. It's like a museum. And there's no high concept of Starseed Pilgrim that is structurally meaningful to me. It came together, and it's a cool object. And I mean, yeah, it's good. People like it. I've found that focusing on the phrase "kill gameplay" is one of the best tuning forks for getting me back away from the stuff that isn't bloody, to take me away from making things that are on the surface compelling but not meaningful to me as a maker. It's obviously fun to make something fun, to make a little jumpy control scheme in a platformer and to jump around for hours. I could do it for hours. Basic platformer controller, randomly fill a screen with blocks. I love that shit. But that's not the stuff that helps me explore what it means to exist in the world. It's just a distraction. I don't know about you, viewer, friend, but I don't need more distractions. There's so much in this world that I could be paying attention to. I'm not going to pay attention to it all. I have to pick and choose. And is having fun with a video game one of the things that I will choose to spend my time on? Kill gameplay. I don't know, wishlist or buy the end of gameplay so that I can make more games.